Hey folks, what is happening? My name is Alan Collins. Welcome to the studentloanjustice.org live stream for Saturday, September 5th. If you're new to the group, welcome. We're glad you found us. If you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green, or otherwise politically inclined, you are more than welcome here. This is a very inclusive group. We are all bound together by our uniform hatred of student loans. So student loans are the most predatory loan in our nation's history. We've been doing this for 15 years now. We've been featured top story on 60 Minutes in the New York Times, Los Angeles Times. We've written many papers, books, articles. We've made many points of research discovered that turned out to be some of the more important stories in higher education in the past 15 years. We've traveled the country. We've protested, we've done all these things. And I'm here to tell you that it is now a failed lending system. It's failed. 80% of all federal student loan borrowers will never be able to repay their loans. And that was true before the coronavirus. The default rate for 2004 students who were only borrowing a third of what's being borrowed today, that default rate is 40%. So my best guess is that of everybody walking around with student loans now, post or during the coronavirus crisis, the default rate has got to be 70, 80+%. So this is a failed lending system, guys. It's failed. It's not your fault. You know, the students, the citizens, us, the borrowers, we have not changed. What has changed is this predatory lending system. It has gone off the rails. And at this point, nobody is paying on their loans. And whenever this moratorium lifts, very few people will resume paying their loans. It's a dead lending system. Now, this could have a bad outcome. It could have a good outcome. The bad outcome is that the student loan swamp has its way and there are no changes in the law. The loans are pursued and pursued and pursued, and people find they're getting not only their wages garnished, but their property liened, perhaps even being arrested. That would be the bad dystopian outcome. We can't do that. The correct outcome, the right outcome, is that the President and Congress recognize this failed lending system, and it is failed, for what it is. And by the way, those statistics I threw out a couple seconds ago, those aren't my words. Those are the words of Wayne Johnson, who recently stepped down as the head of the federal lending program. So if you don't believe me, believe him. Guys, it's time for these loans to be canceled. Congress will not cancel loans. The Department of Education will not cancel loans. All the loan cancellation programs that we're hearing about are nonsense. They are doomed to fail. What will work is a presidential executive order canceling the loans. The president can do that without needing one dime of tax appropriation, without needing approval from Congress, without adding one penny to the national debt, by the way. You know, there is no better targeted, cheaper, more effective way to stimulate the economy than by canceling these federal student loans. And that's about 85% of all student loans, by the way. The federal government owns directly 85% of all student loans. So the chances are you have federally owned student loans. So to that end, we started it, and I'm going to keep this kind of short tonight. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to throw them out. But I'm going to try and keep this one to under like 12 minutes or so tonight. We started a petition on change.org. Change.org/cancel student loans. Capital C, capital S, capital L. This has got to happen. I'm very glad to tell you that we've now got like 560 something thousand signatures. That's over 500,000 signatures. But you know, folks, there are 55 million people in the country with student loans. 44 million of them, or co-sign on loans, 44 million of them will never be able to repay. And this again, before the coronavirus, they were unable to make payments, or they were paying and paying and paying, and their balances were going up. And the former is a far larger segment than the latter, just so you know. So we could easily get tens of millions of signatures on this petition. It's really only a matter of getting the word out. If everybody with student loans knew about this petition, at least 80% would sign the petition, I am confident. There comes a time in the nation's history where, I'm sorry, but the people just have got to stand up. We cannot live under this oppression any longer. It's a national threat. By giving in, giving up, and allowing yourself to be victimized and preyed upon by this predatory, unconstitutional, by the way, lending system, you only ensure the infliction, the conquering and enslavement of this indefensible lending system on tens or hundreds of millions of people to follow in our footsteps. We are not a slave state. We are a free state. The founding fathers fought and died for our freedom. And when they wrote the Constitution, they called for a uniform system of bankruptcies. They called for this ahead of the power to declare war, ahead of the power to raise an army, ahead of the power to build a navy, ahead of the power to coin currency. Think about that. Student loans, yeah, they're the only type of loan in the country that have been uniquely stripped of bankruptcy protections. The founders also put an amendment on the Constitution calling for equal protection under the law. Well, under current law, people with student loans are denied the same bankruptcy protections that every other citizen enjoys. And by the way, people who take out federal student loans, they are, by definition, economically disadvantaged. So folks, I'm telling you, the founding fathers are on our side. It's not enough to just simply stop paying your loans, because all things being equal, nothing else changing, that will set us up and 44 million other people up to be wrecked for the rest of our lives by this debt. No. And I totally understand people who had stopped paying even before the coronavirus. And quite frankly, at this point, whenever this payment suspension lifts, I think it is not only unwise, but in fact unpatriotic to resume making payments on your student loans. There comes a time where you have to shut down injustices. Now, the good thing is we own this lending system, folks. We have 100% control as the borrowers of this lending system. The nearly $2 trillion in outstanding student loan debt, that comes from us if we choose to pay. Well, I'm telling you, folks, this is such a nationally threatening problem at this point that even if you can afford to pay, I think that's a very unpatriotic and unwise thing to do. These loans have got to be canceled, period. This is not what the founders and hundreds of thousands, millions of others between 1776 and today fought and died for. This is not the freedom that they fought and died for. So think about that. You really need to take 2 steps back from your own personal hell. And I know a lot of us are going through our own personal hells of student loan debt. Take 2 steps back. Take the broader view. Think about what is good for this country. What good does it do to conquer and enslave, financially devastate, and wreck 44 million of our best and brightest? 55 million if you count cosigners. It's ridiculous. It's insane. It can't be allowed to continue. Now, we gave Congress and the president 15 years to fix this broken system. We fought very moderately for just the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans for the first 15 years of our existence. They failed. They failed us. At this point, it's probably too late to return bankruptcy protections to student loans. Although we do continue to fight for that. There are 2 bills in the House and Senate right now. H.R. 2648, S1414 in the Senate. And when these loans finally get canceled by executive order, there still will be about 15% of the loans hanging around. So these are the older style FFLP loans, and of course, private student loans. We've got to return bankruptcy protections to those for sure. But the 85% have got to go. This lending system has got to be ended. The country has got to come up with a better way to finance college in this country. The colleges need to lower their prices. So we're not here to design and fight for the future higher education lending model. That's not our job. Our job is to end the current lending system. This is the 1.5 plus trillion pound gorilla that is staring this nation in the face as we speak. So don't feel bad if you're falling behind on your student loans. You're in the large majority. And we do not have to take this, people. The founding fathers are on our side. But it's going to take some work. You know, we've got over 500,000 signatures on our petition now. We need to get millions. So I will simply say, go to the petition. There's 4 things that you can do, very simple things that you can do to spread the word about this petition and to help it grow. There is no other group in the country, no other person group, no other initiative, no other project out there in the country that will actually lead to the actual cancellation of student loans. All the stuff you're hearing about on the campaign stump from Biden, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren, although we endorse them, their loan cancellation programs were doomed to fail. Joe Biden's is currently doomed to fail. It will never work. And I can explain that at some point, if you maybe PM me or something. Or just watch any of our recent live streams, and I describe in detail why none of the loan cancellation plans that we're hearing about will ever work. What works is what we are fighting for, and we are the only group in the nation fighting for it. So that's simply to say that you came to the right place, and we're glad that we found you. What took you so long? Tell everybody you know with student loans about this group. Maybe people that don't have student loans as well. They should be on our side. We will not be conquered and enslaved. And those are John Adams' words, by the way, not mine. John Adams said there are 2 ways to conquer and enslave a country. One is by the sword, but the other is by debt. So this is precisely what the Founding Fathers wanted to avoid, and we don't have to take it, and you are on the right side. We have the moral, constitutional, ethical, even high ground. We are the good guys in this battle, and don't you forget it. So please, go to our petition, look at the 4 easy things that you can do to help it grow. Make that happen. Because remember, this could have a bad outcome that I described earlier. We don't want that bad outcome. We want the good outcome. And we could get it by election day if we really kick some ass, if we really put some effort into it. When I say we, I mean me, and I'm doing that. But I mean you. You sitting there. I'm not kidding. Your loans depend on this. So make some time in your schedule every day for the next 2 months and let us win this battle together. Because we don't want to all lose separately. Trust me on that. Right? Let's win this together. So good luck. Keep checking back frequently. Things are starting to happen fast. Hang in there. Keep fighting. Good luck. Godspeed. And until tomorrow, God bless.